Hollywood used to print billions from this, a $12 piece of plastic. Studios could lose $50 million on a movie and still make a profit. But when it disappeared, it didn't just hurt Hollywood, it broke the entire system. For about a decade, Hollywood had something no industry should have, a guaranteed money printer. Every movie got released twice, first in cinemas and then again on DVD. In the second release, that's where the money was. It only cost just $1 to make a DVD, but studios were selling them for up to $20. The movie already had its run, there was no marketing risk, and they didn't need to split any revenue with the cinemas. They were taking in pure profit. By the early 2000s, DVDs were making up the majority of Hollywood's revenue, not movies. But the real genius of the DVD wasn't just the profit, it was the psychology. Owning a movie felt different. You didn't just watch it, you were collecting it. People had shelves, cases, box sets filled with their favorite DVDs. Studios weren't just selling films anymore, they were selling identity. People would buy movies they had already seen just to own them. Streaming killed that. Now everything is temporary. Nothing feels valuable because none of it is yours. The addiction. And this is where things went wrong. Hollywood didn't just benefit from DVDs, it became dependent on them. Studios stopped asking, will this succeed in theaters? And they started asking, is this gonna sell on DVD instead? Even if a movie failed, it didn't matter, because 6 months later, it had a second chance. This isn't just a theory, even Matt Damon admitted to it.
What are the macro Hollywood conditions behind that sentiment?
Well, so what happened was, the DVD was a huge part of our business, of our revenue stream, and technology has just made that obsolete. And so the movies that we used to make, you could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release, and 6 months later you get a whole other chunk. It would be like reopening the movie almost. And when that went away, that changed the type of movies that we could make. I did this movie Behind the Candelabra. When I talked to a studio executive who explained it was a $25 million movie, I would have to put that much into print advertising, right, to market it. We call P&A, so I'd have to put that in P&A. So now I'm in $50 million. I have to split everything I get with the exhibitor, right, the people who own the movie theaters. So I would have to make $100 million before I got into profit. And the idea of making $100 million on a story about like this love affair between these two people, yeah, I love everyone in the movie, but that's suddenly a massive gamble in a way that it wasn't in the 1990s when they were making all those kind of movies, the kind of movies that I loved and the kind of movies that were my bread and butter.
The Golden Age.
I admire Cassius Clay, I do. What I admire is, in his sport, there's an element of true combat. When Cassius Clay meets Sonny Liston in the ring, that's not two athletes posturing, that's combat. Two men trying to kill each other right now. If you don't beat him, he kills you.
And because of that safety net, Hollywood took risks. Weird movies got made, original stories got funded, and failures always got a second chance. The Shawshank Redemption bombed in theaters, but then exploded on home release. Office Space got pulled from cinemas, then became a cult phenomenon. And even Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, it was barely profitable at first. It only proved its value after release on DVD. But without that safety net, none of those films could have survived. The bubble. But there was a hidden problem. The DVD boom wasn't just a gold mine, it was becoming a bubble. Studios started overproducing, flooding the market with slop. Every movie, no matter how average, was expected to make money later. And for a while, it was working, everybody was happy, until it didn't. Sales started to plateau, and then they declined. But the executives in studios didn't adjust, and that's when everything started to break. And while they were panicking, they made the biggest mistake. It looked smart at the time, but catastrophic in hindsight. They saw streaming platforms like Netflix, and they thought, easy money. But instead of protecting their system, they licensed it away. They handed their entire catalogs to tech companies for flat fees. And just like that, they traded high margin ownership for low margin access. They weren't worried about the future anymore. They just needed a little bit of money since everything was going to shit. So they outsourced it. But ultimately, when the DVDs died, the safety net disappeared with it. Now every single movie had to succeed. Immediately, opening weekend or nothing. And that changed everything. Mid-budget films, gone. So they shifted strategies, massive blockbusters or low budget guarantees. The entire middle class of cinema was just erased. It was too risky. But this is what nobody talks about. Streaming didn't just replace the DVD, it made the whole system less profitable. With DVDs, every single purchase was new revenue. With streaming, you pay once and consume infinitely. That means a hit movie and a failure can generate almost the same money. The incentive changed. It was no longer about making something great. It was just about keeping you subscribed. And that's why everything now feels like content. But the biggest damage wasn't just the movies, it was the people. During the DVD era, actors and writers got paid residuals. Every single DVD sale meant money to their pockets. Streaming replaced that with nothing. Actors and writers no longer got paid the same. They were just getting paid flat payments by the studios. That's why the entire industry went on strike, because one day the system that sustained them no longer existed. And now you don't own anything. Movies disappear, entire catalogs get erased. Movies have times before they flip around to the next streaming service. Basically forcing you to stay subscribed. Directors like Guillermo del Toro have warned about this, comparing it to digital erasure. So when you scroll for 40 minutes and feel like nothing's worth watching, it's not your imagination. Hollywood didn't die when the DVD disappeared. It died the moment they became dependent on it. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. Let me know what you think of the video, and I'll see you next time.